The hub. Here we are today.
There's no shoot today.
Yeah, no shoot.
No bang bang.
We're going to do an overview.
Yeah.
Kind of what's going on right now. We got holidays coming up in a couple weeks starting. Believe it or not, Thanksgiving will be here.
Wow. Are you going to be thankful this year? I'm going to.
Yes, because a couple of the things that I've wanted the last couple of years have come in. So.
Number one, he was right about the year of the revolver, I think.
You think so?
Yeah,
There's a lot of
I'm going to give you
going
that
on
one,
like that.
absolutely.
That's because we have insight. No, actually, we love this stuff, so that's probably why we stay on top of it.
There's that.
Than
I'm going to show this. We already showed it sort of a close-up.
Yeah,
in the beginning.
This is going to be
oh, so here's a bigger view of it, because I don't think we got in the whole screen for the other thing.
This is what we talked about 2 years ago.
You were excited about this 2 years ago, and so not to pick on you.
Yeah, Tavor. I think it's a TS-12. I used to always think it was a P, but actually I think it's a TS-12. But anyway, this is it. This is the shotgun with the 3 5-round tubes. And yesterday it came in. I've been playing with it a little bit with some dummy rounds, learning how the functions.
That flipping new, yeah.
Yeah, this is, but we can't shoot it. We're going to try to shoot it within the next week. I don't know if we have to do it outside or going to do it inside to show how it operates. But we don't normally shoot them before we do the video. The only thing I wanted to do was play around with some dummy rounds.
Is this your EOTech?
Yeah, that's my EOTech.
That's your EOTech.
I put an EOTech on it.
You had a fake one on yesterday.
Yeah, I know it was a fake Leupold.
Leupold, yeah.
There was one that came in on the gun. The guy said it was a Leupold, and it's actually a Chinese Leupold.
Aha.
But this is actually my EOTech.
A real EOTech.
Actually, a real EOTech. Actually, this is pretty. I'm not sure which way to go with this yet. But until we shoot it, see how it operates, we'll kind of come up with some way to make it work good. So, learning how the operational works with the tubes, turning, the safeties, how they work, the unloading, how that works. So it's a little different than a pump, slightly. But I think maybe after 15, 20 minutes of playing with it, you'll be able to pick that up. So we'll shoot it the first time, probably, hopefully next week.
Semi-auto.
A semi-auto, 15 rounds.
Five rounds per tube.
Per tube.
And then you got to flip the tube, and it's pretty quick to flip the tube.
Yeah, because this is the flip.
This is the flip.
Yeah.
And it goes either way?
Yeah, either way.
And it's ambidextrous, right?
Yes. Now, actually, it's completely, if you look at it, because it has safeties on both sides, of course. You can feed it from either side of this handle.
Well, can you feed it from both sides? So you could put in, you could learn how to quickly put in 10 rounds.
With both at one time? Yeah, I don't know, but possibly. But it would be fast to load if you were trying to
what's her name? The girl, Mikla. We'll get her to do it. You ever see her load a shotgun?
Yes.
I love that. That's my favorite video.
Somebody said the other day, James in the back said he thought this may be easier to load faster for a 3-gun than it would be a regular pump.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he thought by looking at it. So maybe some people might use these in that. But you can change the charging handle from the left to the right. And I guess all this work, and plus the quick release, there's 2 on each side for ambidextrous. I think the reason, you can also change the ejection. Right now it's open on this side.
Right.
I can change it to eject out the other side or that side.
For a lefty or a right.
For lefty, yeah. So basically it's a true a gun designed for either one. And it actually has choke tubes in it, and it's a barrel lock. This slides off. The back opens just like the old Tavor, and you take
But it is not threaded for a suppressor.
No, it's threaded inside.
I don't know why I think this should be suppressed, but I don't.
Yeah, it would be something different. But then you got to worry about the gas. I think what took so long, and on this side you can see it.
Yeah.
On the other side here.
Let me point the gun at you. Yeah, let's do that. Let's try not to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. We're gonna put it over here, and it's not pointing at him.
Actually, it's the wrong way. This on this side.
Oh.
Why'd
you do that to me?
Because I didn't know.
Okay, so we're gonna do it down like this, and then I'll flip the here.
Actually, you know what?
Hold on.
Even that is both sides.
Oh, even that is both sides. So there's a little lever here.
Yeah, and you see that right now it's on low.
Yeah.
And it's got high. So this was what I heard
very cool
from people was this was actually designed for a 3-inch Magnum
stuck my finger in oil.
Yeah, 3-inch Magnum or it wasn't really designed for light load stuff that we like to shoot.
Right.
You might buy at Wally World or something like that. That's inexpensive. So they didn't want to bring it out here in the United States for that reason, knowing we'd want to shoot different things in it. And so it took them over a year to come up with this design change and have this low-high actually work. And so actually it will run the little birdshot, light birdshot, and it'll also run anything 2 3/4 and then anything 3-inch on high.
So I'm still on the fence of whether I think this is, I don't know.
Yeah, well, the reason that we fell in love, I say we, because you're still on the fence.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence on it.
Only because we talked about it for 2 years, never saw one. That's
You were just desperate to prove your point.
yes. That's probably where I came from on it and why I was intrigued with it. I've always been kind of a shotgun person, and I've looked for the holy grail of shotguns, and I hate to use religious terms, it makes people upset.
Yeah.
But looking for a shotgun that kind of incorporates everything we like about shotguns.
Right.
And I use like the 870 Remington or maybe the new 590 Mossberg, one of the pumps.
Right.
Use that as the starting gate, where you can actually run those fairly fast when you get used to holding them and working that pump, and they seem to be the right. But then I've always liked the bullpup design, and so when Kel-Tec came out with theirs, I was drawn right over to it. So I actually got one, or maybe I've had a couple. And then once I've got them, and I found out that I couldn't run them as fast because they were short for me. And when you have them in to your shoulder, and then when you go to pump them, and it's so short, I'm pulling the gun away slightly from my arm, from my shoulder when I pull the trigger. So it's kicking more, and then I found that I ran some times on it, and I'm going, wait a second, I can run the 870 faster.
Right.
Yes, this is shorter, but I said, someday somebody's going to make a semi-automatic bullpup.
So retail on this is what?
I think 13 or 1350, something like that.
Which isn't bad, actually.
For what and for where it's made. I understand these are made in Israel, but they're assembled here.
Because they say PA on them, right?
Yeah, but then on the other, in the box, they say where they're made. And
oh, they do,
assembled,
okay.
So it's just a fantastic gun. So where's it fit? If somebody wants a good security gun, and they get to understand how this operates, I don't think there's anything any better because, and of course we haven't shot it yet, so I'm not going to go on the limb for that.
Right.
But the way you can hold it in tight, and this in your left hand is not pumping some kind of an action on the foregrip, it's just holding it.
Right.
That would be the best. If it operates how I think it's going to operate.
You always hear home defense with shotguns, and then I'm like, eh.
Well, let's just change it to compound defense. Well, a lot of people out here live by the woods.
Yes, they do.
Or they live next to the state property, or they have animals, and they're worried about predators. And
I think a
like
shotgun's a great gun to have in a trailer or a camper or something like that.
And especially if you can get it shorter.
Yeah. And then, yes, you're right.
Because remember the 870 pumps that the police officers have, we called them riot guns.
The riot ones.
But what they actually are is just a shorter barrel. But you ever notice the stocks are a little bit shorter, so the gun can be moved around. Well, this just takes it to another length. These are, I think, 28.5 inches long, just the same length as the regular Tavor 5.56. And you know Tavor came up with the 308 too.
Right.
And they're all 28.5 inches
long. And I think the Tavor 5.56 is a phenomenal home defense gun.
I think it's a fantastic gun too.
Yeah.
It's got its place because we like shotguns and we like ARs. And we also like our handguns. And we're always looking for a good replacement for the AR, but there hasn't been one. I went through the PS90 thing with FN, and because it was small. And held 50 and all that. The problem was, it was as heavy as an AR, with only half the power, and the ammo was more expensive.
I like the MPX. I'm still the MPX fan. On the 9mm, it's even 9mm, and you could do suppressed, and it's still all manageable within a house.
So this, I think, next year is going to be the year of the shotgun. I'm going ahead of time. No, but shotguns have some advantages. We just don't. They're not thought of enough about the advantage of them. So we're going to do some patterning out at distance.
And they're certainly not on the radar of gun haters. That's for sure.
This might be.
Well, it looks like the other guns
made by
and then it's like, oh no, and it looks exactly like the gun that they don't want, and then all of a sudden it's a gun that they're okay with. So it's like, what's the difference?
Funny, all of a sudden we're at the end of this year, and then the Colt came back out. We did the video on last week, and we waited for that for roughly a year, and this I guess it'll be 2 years this January. Is that correct for this?
Yeah. Since you were excited about it, I don't know when they had introduced it.
Why was I excited about it then?
Because you liked it.
I did think I'd like it.
So we're going to be shooting this soon.
And we're going to see if it fits what it's supposed to fit.
There we go, cool.
And we won't shoot it before we do the video.
The official name of this is?
It's a Tavor a TS-12.
TS-12. Very cool.
TS-12. Why they call it TS-12? Anyway, Tavor TS-12.
Tactical shotgun?
Could be. It's about the same size as their 5.56.
Right.
And the same size as their 308. Now, what I like about this compared to the 5.56, because people say the 5.56 trigger's heavy, the newer one's lighter than the older one was. And they have a 9mm kit for it.
Yeah.
So that's not a bad option because you like the 9. But this trigger, we didn't say anything because all I've done is has some dummy rounds in it, but it feels like it's probably 6 pounds. which is fine for a military. For a shotgun, that's not bad.
Right.
But for an AR, you're going, I want this AR down around 3.5 to 4 pounds. Right. So advantage to the AR still when it comes to trigger and shortness.
Can you imagine grabbing the wrong one in the middle of the night?
You have them all stacked there, like. Well, that
could be an
well,
issue.
it could be an interesting place. Cool. But no, I can't. But yes, I could.
Okay, awesome.
So anyway, the news we want to talk about. This was cool. We'll put that down. We're not going to shoot it.
Okay.
And we won't shoot it until we do the video.
Okay.
Because if it doesn't work, then I'm going to have all your pie on my face.
Egg. It's egg.
Anyway, getting.
I'm a bird. Remember?
Yeah. That's right. Okay, so news. A recap, kind of what we're kind of trying to do here. With we're just starting now our new CCW classes. We've talked about the CCW classes, what's happened to them, how they become convoluted. What's the term for that? But actually, a lot of the CCW classes.
I think they got off of. I'm sorry to talk over you, but I think they got off of the purpose of the CCW, which was to teach you, all the proper rules and etiquette and things like that. And they got into almost. I'll tell you, not here, but I can tell you, I know some CCW classes that got into sort of like the rants for Second Amendment people that were like, let's shove our rights down their throat to make sure they understand them. And it got a little out of hand in some of the CCW classes. So you've done a reset with it.
Yeah, well, we talked about this reset because the people we're looking for are the people now interested in having a gun for protection. And most of those people today don't own firearms. So they're part of that 65% we're talking about that we're trying to address.
And they have a specific fear of guns as well.
Yes, so they need so we have a couple different classes, but we have actually a 101 CCW class now that takes into consideration everything you and I have talked about concealment only, about all the different ways of holding guns and carrying guns. And we have an evaluation in there for people that have guns, that bring them in order to take our 101 class here. You have to, of course, have a gun and be able to load and unload it safely, because that's the main thing for us is safety.
Right.
That's gun safety. And as long as they can do that, they can take that class. Now, they're the newer ones like we're talking about. They need to take our regular handgun 101 to get them ready to take the. In fact, we have students today taking the handgun 101, so next, not this Saturday, but the following Saturday, they can take the new 101 CCW class.
Right.
So we're kind of looking at it that way. And there'll be evaluations of equipment, if they already have equipment, and then there'll be recommendations, and maybe we'll help people shop if that's something that they want. But
very cool.
A lot of them seem to, so. We've been working on this now for a while. You and I have talked about it for over a year, about how to start aiming the CCW and giving people more than just some paperwork. And I think we've talked about the fact that why I believe that of the ones that I know of, the CCW classes, most of them are probably 90% paperwork.
Oh, it's all paperwork, yeah.
And 10% what if I could, this, what I coulda, shoulda, and those things all come down to they can't give you an answer. It's a liability issue. So I would much rather get people prepared for the 98% of potential that could possibly happen to them, and forget the 1% because you're covered 90% of the time anyway, or 98. When they figure it out, you'll see it,
right.
And they'll know, and I think they'll like it. We'll spend much more time on real life stuff, much more time on holding the gun, how to stand with the gun, how to learn to grip the gun. So there'll be all kinds of training involved in the CCW class. So it's no longer going to be a cookie cutter CCW class.
And at that point, it's not just you getting the certificate to get your qualification to have the card.
Yeah.
It's then actually being able to be prepared and deal with the anxiety that happens and deal with stresses that you can't put yourself through until they happen.
Yep.
But there is a way to deal with that, and several different other things that have been trained in the past address that. So that is something, anxiety management is a thing.
Yeah. Oh, it is. We're going to get into that, and then we're going to have a CCW 102. And now the prerequisite for that, of course, you have to have a CCW.
Yep.
And then we'll go into some more advanced stuff, but it's going to probably stay away from more of the tactical stuff and more of that stuff, because you know what?
Almost no tactical, because
I believe
that's not what you're going to be involved in as a CCW carrier.
And that market's so saturated with professionals that know what they're doing. So if that's what people want, they can get that.
There's plenty of them to go to.
Yeah, if they just want to start and they want to get into it and they want to learn, we're happy to help them. So we're looking forward to this year for the new classes, and looking forward to some more guns. And I guess we'll talk about going to the SHOT Show and
Coming sooner than later, yeah. So we're gonna get into Thanksgiving and then into Christmas, and boom! It's like, you know, January starts, and then it's almost like you just run to it.
Yeah, and the Hub's been lucky this year. With, you know, the new store in Tucson, Michael did a great job with that, and their new electronic range down there.
Yep.
And they're working on potentially to do a different kind of range.
Check out the website as well, because the new refreshed update.
It is changing, isn't it?
thehubaz.com. Really cool things there. You can schedule yourself in for classes. You can find out what's in inventory, all that kind of stuff. So good things.
Cool. Well, that's an update, I guess.
You betcha. Hey, I'm Birdman.
And I'm Bruce, and be safe.
I don't want to talk over you.
You've been doing that a lot lately.
Shush.
Thank you for subscribing. Keep it up, and we're going to keep going.